Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on GT Sport. We're back with a track guide for Daily Race C, driving the Honda S2000 at Laguna Seca, a very enjoyable combination. So the guide that we're bringing you today is not actually from my fastest lap. I forgot to record the fastest lap, so I quickly jumped on and did a 1 minute 42.6. Now it's not a particularly amazing lap, but I felt that it is good enough for a track guide to give you the basic pointers. I believe that I should be able to get a 1 minute 41.9 if I absolutely nail a lap. But we might push for that this week, depending on time and what else we've got to do. We have got to learn Nordschleife properly, obviously, as well. For Saturday's Nations races, that should be interesting. But for this guide, we're going to point out the braking zones, the lines I like to take, and some areas that you need to be careful on in terms of the possibilities of picking up penalties in race conditions as well. So we're going to go through all that, give you as much advice as possible, hopefully get your times faster so that you can up your place on the grid. Obviously with a standing start, you want to be as far up the front as possible. You really don't want to be in the middle or the back of the pack. Back of the pack probably is actually safer than the middle, if I'm honest, but towards the front is where you really want to be. Get away from all the chaos, get away from the drivers that are going to hold you up with the absolute chaos that can happen on these standing starts. And yeah, try and get as fast as possible lap as possible. Now I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this combination. I did say this yesterday, it's actually a really fun combination. You will like it. If you haven't tried it yet, make sure you give it a go. The S2000 has got a lot more grip than what you'd think. It actually handles quite similar to what you'd expect a race car to handle like, so I think you will enjoy this. So we're going to start this track guide starting from the final corner, and then we're going to work our way around pointing out all the tips. So make sure you get a nice solid exit from the final corner, giving yourself as much acceleration down this start straight as possible, and then you're going to be looking for the first major braking zone. I look for the number 3 board, braking a little bit before the number 3 board. So what you're going to see here now is you've got the number 4 board there, and then slow it down, and there is the number 3 board. You're going to hit your braking points quite early. I brake a little bit before the number 3 board, you can see there, and then trail braking all the way into the corner, downshifting nice and slowly, and try and hold a very tight apex. I like to keep the car as narrow to this apex as possible. I find it is the fastest way to do this corner. You see, keeping it nice and tight into the apex, then back onto the throttle nice and early, and again keeping your left hand tyre onto the second part of the apex as well. It's like a double apex that you want to hit on this corner, and then accelerating hard out of the corner into the next braking zone, which you're going to use a little grid on the left hand side. So in between the 2 and the 1 board, you're going to see that very small grey grid on the left hand side, and that is what I use to guide us in for our braking zone into this right hand corner. And again, you want to try and get the right hand tyre to skim the apex. Be very careful that you do not hit this sausage curb on the right hand side. It can unsettle the car. You have to be very careful at Laguna Seca to avoid all them curbs. You just want to skim the apex of the corners. Use all the exit curb on the left hand side on the exit to gain as much speed as possible. Then into this very fast right hand corner, you see all we do is we just give it a little tap of the brake pedal. It's nothing massive, just a little tap to try and get the weight onto the front, and then back on the accelerator as aggressively as possible. A little lift mid-apex there, didn't quite feel confident. You can tell by the way we're running out a little bit wide there. Maybe lost a bit of time on this lap on that corner there. Could have been a little bit there. Then into the next braking zone, braking in between the 3 and the 2 board, a bit closer to the 3 board though. And then we're going to trail brake all the way into this left hand corner, trying to take quite a late apex in a way, and then getting on the throttle as early as possible. You see, trying to skim the left hand side, and again avoiding the sausage curb on the left. That will really hurt your lap time. And then accelerating all the way up the hill. It's important to get as much speed from that corner as possible, because then you're accelerating all the way up this hill into this very tricky left hand corner, which you're just going to give it a little lift. You don't actually need to hit the brakes. At the 2 board, you're just going to come off the throttle, coast it in, and then back on the throttle as early as possible, skim the apex of the curb, and again avoid that curb on the left hand side. That will kick your car all the way out to the right hand side and ruin your lap. Running as far wide as you can, using as much of the track as possible. Extremely important to use all available track to get as much lap time out of this combination as possible. Then into the next braking zone, you're going to brake just before, I think that is the number 3 board on the right hand side. Just before there, you want to make sure you're braking nice and early. Make sure that you're getting the car slowed down. You do not want it to carry too much speed into the corkscrew. It will catch you out. trying to cut this slightly. I actually got away with a penalty here, I think, because this was verging on a penalty. You have to be a bit more careful than what I was there. And then onto the downhill section, make sure your left-hand tire does not cross the white line on the left-hand side. Try and keep your, that is the limits pretty much what I'm running there. Did that pretty well, to be honest. Pushed the limits to pretty much the extreme. Now into this left-hand corner, what you're going to see here is, again, just going to come off the throttle slightly. Not actually going to get on the brakes. There's no need to get on the brakes. Just a little lift off the throttle. Let the car coast for a bit. Let the weight transfer to the front of the car and then back onto the throttle. Hit the apex nicely there. I actually felt I'd carried a bit too much speed in. You see it come back off the throttle slightly. If you feel you're going to run wide, just get off the throttle slightly, then back on. Use this full track width again to get as much lap time out of the track as possible. Then into the next braking zone, using the number 2 board on the left hand side, making sure that we brake a little bit before there, down into 3rd gear, and just try and let the car coast into this corner. You see a little bit of trail braking before we go into that corner. And then on the throttle as aggressively as possible, carrying as much speed out of the corner into the final braking zone now, using again the number 3 board, braking a little bit before that, and again down into 2nd gear, and try and take a late apex as possible. But while I say late apex, it's you want to be into the corner early. You're going to see the line I take here. So now we're turning late, but then we're going to get the car sliding and then back on the throttle as aggressively as possible. You see how we carry the speed on the apex and on the exit, and that actually gives us a very good exit speed coming from the final corner and over the line for a 1 minute 42.6. I think this one was. Like I say, it wasn't my best lap. I'd done a 42.5, but I forgot to record it, so I had to quickly jump back on and record the 42.6. Like I say, there's a lot more potential in this lap. We'll have a little look now from the chase camera. Again, you're going to see about this really tight line through turn 1, and then again into this corner. You're going to see how we brake just on that little grid on the left hand side. You'll just about see it there. You just see it spotted there on the left hand side. That is what you use for a braking reference, because there isn't really much else you can use on that corner. And then into this really fast right hand corner, you don't actually have to give it a brake, any braking inputs there. I think you can actually just do it with a little lift, but I just do a little bit of braking input just to reduce some of the speed. And then into this left hand corner, you're going to see again just braking after the freeboard, trying to get the car into the curb, onto the throttle as early as possible, carry as much speed all the way up the hill now into the really fast left hand corner. Again, this is another very important corner to carry the speed all the way up the hill, again avoiding that sausage curve that will absolutely ruin your lap. And then up the hill, corkscrew time, and again this is going to show you how I think I was very lucky to get away with a penalty on this first part of the chicane. You're going to see we cut a little bit too much off that. Very lucky. You can see all 4 wheels were actually over the white line, so push the limits to the extreme there, got away with that one. And then into this left hand corner, probably could have kept on the throttle there. It was just I didn't feel 100% confident the car was going to grip, so lost maybe half a tenth on that corner. Then into the final braking zone, again we did this reasonably well, carried a lot of speed in, chucked the car in. You see how we chuck it in, keep the throttle on very early. Look how we're onto the throttle all before we're actually hitting the apex of the corner. That's important in this car, gives you that little extra speed down the main straight. Anyway, I hope this track guide has helped you out. Make sure you let me know in the comment section if it's helped you out, if it's helped you gain any time in qualifying, if it's helped you out in the race as well. Hopefully it'll help you improve your race as well. Just bear in mind you will have a bit of fuel on board. Although in this race the fuel doesn't seem to have as much of an effect as certain other cars at this with full fuel. It seems to be pretty nice. So let me know in the comment section. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed, and hit that notification button so you don't miss any future videos. I'm going to leave you with the lap at full speed without any commentary. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you all soon for more videos and streams.